Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Jimmy and this is Patriots Glow. Today I wanted to go over 5 essential woodworking tools that if you would like to start a woodworking business for the year of 2025, these are going to be the necessary tools that you need to start. I started out with basic tools. I've even made these American flags with all of the basic tools that I'm going to name off here. Making these American flags right here allowed me to purchase another tool, which allowed me to make these better and faster. And then that allowed me to buy even more tools after that. So stick around. We'll go over these 5 essential woodworking tools that you're going to need to start your woodworking business today. So first things first, I want to start with, we can't do any woodworking if we can't cut the wood that we're working with, right? So number 1 on my list of tools that we need to start with is a saw. It could be a circular saw, hand saw, miter saw helps if you already have a miter saw, but number 1 and foremost, the most versatile tool that you can use is the circular saw here. It can do everything that a miter saw can do and more. You can rip down large pieces of wood, whether it be plywood or boards that you have to do. Like I said before, for these American flags, that 1.5 inch slat, I was actually cutting that 1.5 inch slat with a circular saw to start out with. When I originally started making those flags and using the circular saw, I had the most Frankenstein jig set up so that I could hold those slats and cut these perfectly each time to kind of get an assembly line set up going. After I moved on from that, and I'm sorry to say, but I chucked that jig because, man, was it a pain in the butt. But I was able to do it. I was able to start doing what I'm doing now with a tool that I already had. Did I want a table saw? Absolutely, I wanted a table saw. But at that moment in time, that wasn't in the budget, and I could not justify buying a table saw for something that I was making that I did not know for a fact I was going to be able to sell. So after I made a few sales with those American flags, which can run anywhere depending on the quality and what you actually do with your flags, $75 to, I've seen them go over $200. So I started selling my American flags at right about $75 and moved it up from there. And I sold enough of those American flags in one weekend that I was able to go out and buy a table saw. Now, it's not the most expensive table saw, but it is a table saw that gets me from point A to point B, just like this will do for you at first. Now, with that being said, and this is no joke, my first saw would have been a regular saw with a miter box. So this saw with a miter box, so that you can make your different degree cuts, range anywhere from $7 to $17. And this is what I actually started out with. I don't know where the miter box is, but this is what I was doing a bunch of trim cuts with. I was doing some construction work and I needed to cut angles on trim, and this was my first thing here. So don't pass it up. I don't know what your budget is. It might be a couple $100. It might be a couple of $1,000. And this is something that you're wanting to start doing. But don't pass on this because it's a possibility. And you can actually do the same work that you would do with this. Does it take a lot longer? Absolutely. But can you do it? 100%, yes, you can. Now, next up on our list, we're going to talk about a drill. Now, there's a lot of drills out there at a lot of different price points. One thing that I will say is if you get a battery operated saw and a battery operated drill, you don't have a brand loyalty right now. Starting out, we shouldn't have a brand loyalty. What you're trying to do is get your foot in the door. So get the same brand drill as you do your saw. Mainly so that your batteries are interchangeable. That's going to be a vital point here, is you would like all of your batteries to be interchangeable with each other. Now, the cordless drill here, I like because you're going to have your clutch adjustments. And like it was pointed out in the comment section below, the last video that I made, and he was absolutely right, should have been using this drill to sink my pocket hole screws. Mainly because it has a chuck on there and you can lower the setting so that it does not strip out your screws. So, very important to have. Highly recommend. Now, Cobalt, you can get a Cobalt drill for starting out at $79. You can get a drill with an impact driver like I was using, both Cobalt, for $149. Or you can get the big bundle, which has a Sawzall, the drill, and the impact for, I believe, $249. Which, if you're just starting out, pick yourself up the drill, pick yourself up a saw. You can also get them bundles with DeWalt for $139. Or if we're really wanting to try to be cost effective, get into the game and keep these price points as low as we can, Porter Cable at Tractor Supply actually has an entire bundle where you'll get the circular saw, a Sawzall, and a drill, all for $99. So for a $99 price point for entry level, perfect. That's exactly the way that I would go with it.
Nice.
You can get into the game for $100 for your power, starting out with your power tools. And if you've already seen a couple of my videos, I break down pallets all the time. Sawzall is very handy. You can do it with a circular saw, but you see, I pick up the Sawzall every time. So for that $99 price point, I would go with that 100%. Which now moves us into tool number 3. We are going to talk about the sander. Obviously, like I say every time, a sanding block or sandpaper, you can hand sand everything every time. Is that something that I want to do? It isn't. Does it take a lot of time? It does. Because in woodworking, sanding is one of the most important steps of any of your products that you make. So having a hand sander of some type expedites all of that, and we all know time is money. So there are multiple different types of sanders that you can actually buy. You have the random orbital sander, mouse sanders, belt sanders. This is what I started out with, a small Black & Decker mouse sander. And I actually had that probably in my early 20s. So over a decade old, and we're talking, we still have it. We still use it on almost every single project. I think we end up using this. So I can't remember what I bought this for over a decade ago. If anybody remembers that's watching this, please comment down below. I won't ask anybody's age. but I know I'm old enough that this mouse sander is no longer the same price that it would have been when I purchased it. So you can pick up mouse sanders, different types of brands, for around $30. And all of these sanders can range all the way up to $100, depending on the brand that you get and depending on what type of sander you get. Now, like I said, remember, we don't have a brand loyalty. Our brand loyalty is what we start out with. It's whatever we can afford at the time. If we want to have cordless tools, they all need to be the same brand. That is the most important. We sit here and we go, well, you don't have the same brand of tool sitting here every time. Only 2 of your tools are. Well, I mean, if we wanted to say that, I have a few different drills and a few different saws that are different brands. As you grow and as you develop, choose different brands, test different brands out, see what you like. But starting out, please, buy the same brand tools and we'll move from there. And that moves us on to tool number 4. And we are going to talk about the tape measure. Obviously, we all know what a tape measure is. We've all probably used one a time or two. Tape measures can range anywhere from $5 to $10. I don't see you spending any more than that. I know the tape measure from Fast Cap is $10. You can get a Craftsman one for about $5. The one thing that I do like on here, and especially when you begin woodworking, there are a couple of different things that you've got here. You spend a few extra dollars, but you can read this tape measure from either direction, no matter which way that you're actually looking at it. And you have your fractions on here as well. Really good tape measure. I like it. It's got a pencil sharpener on there. Obviously, you can lock this in place. You can also stop it with your finger here. But you can buy a Craftsman tape measure for $5. Now, if I were you, I would make sure that I get a 25-foot tape measure. There's no reason to get anything shorter than that. I don't use anything shorter than that, and I don't have a smaller one in the shop. I think my wife may have a 15-foot one in the house, but if she's measuring something that's more than 15 feet, we all better worry about that. So, tape measure, $5 to $10. Definitely get this. If you have one, you don't have enough. If you have 100, you still don't have enough. And that is going to be your clamps. Every type of clamp that you can possibly get, obviously you're going to want. So clamps, depending on the type of brand that you get and what kind of clamp that you're actually purchasing, they can range different prices. But what I have here is Horuzde. I'm sorry. I don't know. I can't even read. But so we have these simple clamps right here. I picked up this pack when I originally started woodworking. I had a couple of clamps, but not enough to actually do the American flag that I showed you. Nothing big enough to do things like that. So I went ahead and bought these clamps on Amazon, and these clamps, the clamp set that I have, wasn't even big enough to do these anyway. So I ended up having to go out and purchase more clamps because I wasn't paying attention at the time. So take your time, look to see what type of clamps that you're buying, and buy exactly what you want. I purchased these on Amazon, the pack of 8 of them, which also come with the hand clamps as well. Like the clipper clamps, for $40. Now, do these do what I need them to do? Yes, depending on what you're doing. how big your projects are, this is a good set to start out with. I like them. They're good. They do what they're supposed to do. But I will say that out of the larger clamps that I have purchased, bought doesn't sound right, probably because it's not a word, that I purchased would be a clamp named Bremen from Harbor Freight. I like these clamps probably the best out of all of my clamps, especially the larger ones. The pressure clamps are really good. You're able to get the right amount of pressure without having to, pull too hard or not sure how hard to actually keep clamping down with this. Once you get to a point, you'll have a feeling for it, how tight is tight enough. So I like the Bremen clamps, and if I buy any other clamps, it'll probably be the same ones. If I buy any smaller ones, I'll probably go back to Harbor Freight and pick these up in the same brand, but in smaller clamps. So highly recommend. Now the only difference is, and these are obviously for the bigger clamps, they end up per clamp going, $6. For the even bigger clamps, they're going to be more than that. But I like these clamps much, much better than I like these ones. So if I had to recommend something, I would go buy the individual clamps themselves. You don't have to get them in a set, but go pick these up. Like I said, this one I think is more than $6. The one that's just under this starts out at $6. So highly recommend this brand. Really good clamps for a good price, I think. All right, so we're going to go ahead and leave off with one more bonus tool, and it's going to be a speed square. I've had this speed square over probably 2 decades now. So this has seen a lot of work. I've had it for, like I said, 2 decades. As long as you take care of your tools, some of these tools you will have forever. So definitely speed square. You've seen me use it. You've seen me use it in the video. It's a handy tool. Make sure things are square. Make sure your cuts are square. Highly recommend. Obviously, you can get your angles and everything that you need to off of it. And a couple of these, obviously, you've seen this one. You've seen my big blue one. I actually picked up another set yesterday from Lowe's for, I think it was $10 or $12, something like that. Made by Swanson. It's American made. So pick these up. I know you're wondering, well, if you've already got some, why'd you buy more? Because I want to learn how to, that guy that chooses the squares as a throwing stars?
All right, take one. Pull.
That's who I want to be. I don't know his name. I'm sorry. Throw his name and maybe a little video of him. Yeah. So those are the 5 tools that I would start out with, that I would make sure I had. You can make this as cost effective as you possibly want it to be. And like I said, for every project that you do, unless you actually need that money to, pay your bills for the month, use it to reinvest it. Reinvest that money in yourself. You're worth it. Put that money towards more tools and more things around the shop that you need. There you have it. 5 tools with a bonus tool thrown in at the end for a few dollars that you can start your woodworking journey today. For this year, 2025, it's your year. Go get it. Go take it. It's what you make of it for yourself. So if this is something that you really want to do, I know you can do it. If I can do it, I know for a fact that you've got it. So, hey, come on, guys. Get these tools, Let's start making projects, some more pallet projects. I know those are probably my best videos that I get the most likes and subscribes and shares on. But I just wanted to throw these together because not only do I want to better myself, but I want to help better you as well. So stick around. We'll do more projects. I'll show you, I'll give more videos on tools that I would actually purchase if I were you, and then the steps that I would purchase them. But start out with these tools and we'll build from there. And if you say, if you're curious, like, well, Jimmy, what can I actually build? What can I actually sell with 5, 6 tools? What can I make to make some more money to buy more tools? Please comment down in the comment section below. I'll answer you. We'll work on different projects together. I'll show you how to do them. And honestly, anything that I do on here, you know, I want you to do your own thing. Mimic what I do. I don't care if you take the exact same thing that I make and make it for yourself and post it on Etsy and start an Etsy shop. Make money off of that. There's plenty of sales to go around. There's millions of people in the US. And hopefully, I'm not even just talking to people in the US. There are plenty of people in the world that will buy your handmade woodworking projects. There's enough space here for everybody. We'll make some of these projects with basic tools to start getting you earning money today so that you can actually buy more of these tools. But if you stick around, I'll make another video. If everybody likes this video, I will make another video with the next 5 tools that I would purchase after I started making some money. Or if you have some disposable income that doesn't go towards bills, I'll go over some of the things that I would buy as my 6 through 10 top tools that I would purchase. And I'll throw another bonus in there. So please like, subscribe, share with family and friends. I greatly appreciate it. This channel is growing exponentially faster than what I ever imagined to. I even said in one of my previous videos, oh, I want to hit 120 subscribers by the end of the year. We are over 300 subscribers and still kicking out more. I appreciate all of the support from everybody. Any tips that you have, I appreciate those. Any questions, comments, concerns, please leave it down in the comment section below.